Push me, pull you. One bright spring morning at the coal yard, the yard manager was talking to Skarloey.
A puppet show is coming. The children will be excited. No one in the hills has ever seen a puppet show.
Skarloey wanted to pull the puppet show special, so he raced away. Skarloey puffed into the transfer yards. Thomas and the narrow gauge controller were already there.
Please, sir, may I pull the puppet show special?
That's a fine idea, Skarloey. Skarloey's boiler bubbled with excitement. Watch out, they're heavy. Skarloey buffered up. Slowly, Skarloey puffed away. The cars were heavy. But Skarloey was happy. The puppet show special was his. Skarloey heaved and hauled up the steep hill. At last he reached the top. Remakes was there. He was very excited to see the puppet show special.
Those cars look heavy. I could help you.
Skarloey didn't want to share his special with Remakes.
No, thank you. I can pull these cars on my own, Remakes. I'm stronger than you. No, you're not. Oh, yes, I am.
Then an idea flew into Skarloey's funnel.
We'll put the cars between us and pull our hardest. The strongest engine will pull the puppet show special.
Remakes was soon coupled up to the back of the train. They pulled with all their strength and steam. First the cars trundled one way. Then they trundled the other. Skarloey was determined to win. Then Remakes heard a creaking and a cranking. He knew the couplings were being pulled too hard. But Skarloey wouldn't give up. I must win, he thought. Then there was trouble. With a crack and a clank, Remakes' coupling snapped. The puppet show cars bashed and bumped into Skarloey and pushed him down the other side of the hill. Skarloey was scared. He tried to apply his brakes, but they wouldn't work. The puppet show special rattled and roared. Skarloey flew faster down the steep hill. Skarloey saw Duncan. He was pushing cars a-bunting onto the main track.
Look out, Duncan! Stop!
But it was too late. Skarloey crashed into Duncan's cars. Bunting flew into the air. It fell all over Skarloey. Duncan was cross.
Oh, sorry, Duncan, but I must get the puppet show to the children.
Skarloey raced on. The puppet show special clattered and shattered. Then Skarloey saw Rusty at a junction ahead. Rusty was pulling cars of special ice cream.
Out of my way! I can't stop!
Rusty stopped right across the tracks. Skarloey bashed into Rusty's cars. Ice cream flew into the air and spattered all over the engines. Rusty was cross. Now there would be no ice cream at the puppet show.
Sorry, Rusty, but I must get the puppet show to the children.
So Skarloey clattered on. Skarloey was puffing towards Percival Pond. Then there was trouble. Skarloey went round the bend too fast. He steamed into a siding. Skarloey bashed through the buffers. And with a splash, a sploosh, and a splosh, Skarloey plunged into Percival Pond.
Fizzling fireboxes. I wanted to pull the puppet show special on my own. Now look what I've done. The children won't have ice cream or flags. They won't have their puppet show. Help!
But there was no one to hear. Then Skarloey heard a whistle he knew. That's Rheneas, he thought. Rheneas puffed to the edge of Percival Pond. Skarloey had never been happier to see his friend.
I puffed as quickly as I could. I thought you might need my help.
And I do. I wanted to show you that I was the strongest. But all I've shown you is that I'm the silliest.
But Rheneas was happy to help. Slowly, Rheneas heaved and hauled his friend out of the pond. At last, Skarloey was back on the rails. But his firebox was out, and his coal was wet.
Rheneas, you must take the puppet show to the children. I have other jobs to do.
Me? Thank you, Skarloey.
And Rheneas puffed proudly away with the puppet show special. Skarloey had a lot to do. He delivered new cars of ice cream to Rusty. Then Skarloey found Duncan. Duncan's cars were now filled with the bunting.
I'm going to be late for the puppet show.
Don't worry, Duncan. I'll help you. We'll steam to the showground in no time.
Duncan and Skarloey arrived just in time. The children were gathered round the puppet show.
Welcome, everyone, to the first puppet show in the hills.
The children cheered. Skarloey puffed up to Rheneas.
You're my best friend, Rheneas. And there's nothing stronger than friendship.